Yesterday on the show, Peter Johnson and I were talking about, what is that next great leap in wheat yield? Where is that coming from? And he had a bunch of examples of things that people have been mentioning on social media when this question was asked over the weekend. It was a fun discussion. You can go back to yesterday's show by finding the podcast or, of course, going to RealAgRadio.com. But I want to further the discussion on this, and I want to stick with one of the answers that Pete gave, and that was that some people saying that's going to come from variable rate, the perfection of variable rate. And of course, when we talk about variable rate, we can talk about seeding, we can talk about fungicide, but I think for the most part, when we talk about variable rate, we're talking about fertilizer. Now, this technology has been out in the marketplace for a number of years. I would say, if I'm broad brushing it, I would say the results have been mixed. Now, that mix of results can be from one farmer to the next. Even within a single farm, 1 year may pan out, other years not seeing some of the results. Now, some people not necessarily doing a true evaluation based on the fact they're not doing check strips, so that becomes very, very difficult. To compare 1 year to the other is a little bit challenging because, of course, we know that 19 was not like 18, which was not like 15 or 14. So I think there's some challenges in this area. Now, practically speaking, if we are honest, variable rate fertilization makes sense, right? We are getting the biggest bang for our buck for the fertilizer application. We're applying the fertilizer in higher amounts where we're going to see better returns on our investment, and we're pulling back on the fertilizer application in areas that don't necessarily need it. And now how you define that in your prescription, of course, that varies from farm to farm, and I'm not going to get into that because that is definitely not my specialty. But that's the whole concept. Now, practically, I think it is fair to say, like I did earlier, the results have been somewhat mixed. Some of you have bought in you're 2 feet in, never go back, it's variable rate or nothing. Some people have tried it, some people have avoided it, and some people have said, you know what? I just didn't see the return that I was maybe expecting. Now, I would also say that there are some bad actors out there that, now that I'm not necessarily going to name companies, but probably sales reps that sort of over-promising on what is actually capable, or what the technology is actually capable in terms of delivery. So what I did is we posted a poll on RealAgriculture.com. I'm actually really interested in where are we right now with this technology, right? Because with any technology, there's improvements, right? So the variable rate fertilization today is, you would think that the technology and the ability to get a higher return will be better in future versions of that tech. That's, of course, the idea with any sort of technology. But where are we right today? And what are you seeing? And I don't care whether you farm in Western Canada, Ontario, Arkansas, or California, or Ohio. I think that you're seeing a lot of people pushing and trying to sell this kind of technology. But what results have you seen from a return perspective on your farm? That's the question we're going to ask today in the RealAgriculture.com poll. So you go to RealAgriculture.com on your desktop, mobile device, wherever you are, scroll down the homepage and you'll run into our latest poll. That's how you vote, okay? So the question is, what return on investment does your variable rate fertilizer deliver for your farm? Okay, here are your options. Option number 1, 0. Basically, it's a cost. Okay, it's a sort of a net zero. We're not necessarily seeing no money, we lost money, or it's basically we got back what we invested. Option number 2 is 2 for 1. Okay, 2 for 1. 3 is a 3-to-1. The fourth option is 4-to-1. And the final option is, I don't use variable rate. I think that's also an important question here, because what percentage of the market, the potential market that's out there, is currently still not using variable rate? And when I say still not, I'm not saying that from a critical standpoint. I think this, for some people, it's like, you know what? I tried it, I evaluated it, and we gave it a run, gave it a fair shake, and we just decided not to do it anymore. Or, hey, we don't have some of the technology and our equipment to be able to make this work, or whatever your reasons are. I think that's also an important question. The option to say, hey, I don't even use it. So interesting stuff. I'm really looking forward. I have some theories on how people will answer. I think the market of I don't use variable rate is likely to be the biggest answer, but I may be wrong. So we'll find out as people vote, and you can get your vote in now. Go to RealAgriculture.com, scroll down on the homepage, and you'll run into our latest poll, and you can get your vote in. And we'll talk about it in future shows for sure. Just want to get your feedback on that topic because, hey, if it is going to be that lead, right? If some of the farmers that responded to Pete in that thread that Sean Schill created, the farmer from Ontario, if variable rate is going to be one of the next great leaps in wheat yields or corn yields or canola yields or cotton yields, whatever you're farming, if it actually is going to be that next great leap, people got to see a return from it, right? And so, of course, somebody in the scientific background here is going to say, yes, but are you actually measuring that return properly? We're doing farmer math here. Farmer math, are you getting a return from your variable rate application? Please go to realagriculture.com and vote now.